Custodian praises Athena. Your tiny breasts are here again, making July cocktails of us all. Pilgrims dot your yard covertly, waiting for your drapes to spring an honest leak. Any pair of breasts less littler than your Lilliputian parasols beneath a creme brulee camisole is too big a pair of nouns for my lips to haul into runaway gardens of dream. Your sweet cream half-pints precede you with languid stealth. Your bra is a few marigold petals welded by fireflies and slung together by rain. My lips are pink butlers, fetching feathers to praise your wee heavy bosom with. There is an undress rehearsal in my heart's tent tonight. Your breasts are the guests of honor.
I like that.
It's called Girl and Boy. The boy approaches the girl and is met by soft, deadly words that puzzle and soothe. The girl removes her sandals and the boy thinks immediately of sundials. The boy's pupils dilate and grow oily with lament. The girl notices her belly grumbling and reaches into her purse for some crackers. The boy, the boy, the boy. The girl, the girl, the girl. The boy hopes he looks heroic in this poor light. Hopes she believes him native to the gloom and sorrow surrounding them. The girl recalls feeling pretty underwater at a lake house to which her parents lost the key, and all were forced to wait and wade outside until vacation ended. If the boy were a girl, he'd be named Autumn. The boy likes clocks, likes looking at them, but not noting the time. The girl gazes out windows with strange and gorgeous immediacy, as if the outdoors were her memories and her secrets combined. The boy hears horns and flutes before he falls asleep some nights, because his neighbors are horn players and flautists who are in love. His neighbors, his neighbors, his neighbors. The girl hasn't any neighbors and is isolated from experiments and experiences that are detrimental to her progress as a concert pianist. The girl's parents distrust loyalty in general and will not allow their daughter to practice her emptiness at any time except when she is with the boy. The boy borrows tendencies from his dead dad, who was a habitual healer of agonized denizens and who had died in the act of restoring the girl's faith in the unwavering silverness of touch. The girl and the boy are alert to the willowy undertones of unspoken speech and are also aware of how lightly their intimate gestures mimic darkness and how dimly the brightness between them is nestled in a rustling space where her coarse parents cannot live and where his deceased dad, of course, never ceases to. Candy hearts and purple hearts. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, as well as Kurt Vonnegut's birthday. Used to be called Armistice Day, but now it's Oops, Got My Arm Blown Off Day. That violence is more seductive than tranquility is not lost on me. And indeed, carnage sure looks floral from certain angles. But must we call it a holiday? Such a pretty word for so grim a remembrance. On Valentine's Day you blow kisses at loved ones. On Veterans Day we are asked to reflect on those who risked or succeeded in getting their heads and genitals blown off. Could two V words have more opposite meanings? Yes, language, always game, replies. Violence and violets. And so it goes. You've heard of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but how about the Veterans Day Lovemaking Festival? Why does one utterance slide right off the tongue, while the other seems unseemly and smacks of irreverence? If one is Love Day, then the other is Hate Day. Let's call it Hate Day, then, and hate the fact that we celebrate it, thereby embracing our inherited national schizophrenia once and for all. I think Mr. Vonnegut would like that. It's called What It Has Come To. It's just kind of just a meditation on being a 21st century cyber person. I Google the act of enabling intellectual lethargy under the guise of gaining new knowledge, and the word Google pops up. I then Google the word tenacity and pull my pants down. After that, I bike to the cafe and think about terrorists. Then I think about recent machete massacres in Nigeria. After a while, I stop thinking about actual violence and shift my focus to cartoon violence. Unsatisfied that there are any differences other than olfactory ones, I look up at a mother spooning her newborn, a mashed pear. Each spoonful somehow erases the banal horror of my earlier considerations. I finish my coffee and pedal home amid bird sounds and sunshine. At length, I open my Facebook page to monitor how many friends like the idea of my liking myself. I then update my status to wishes he were a little girl so he could parade around in a taffeta tutu, ejaculating ridiculous declarations such as, my tummy is my bummy is my mummy is poop. Next, I take a long, hard look at my pet rock, Wallace Stevens is alive and well, and mutter, pathetic, before sprinkling it with holy water, which fails to sizzle upon hitting it. My spirits, anchored by rancor and whittling in increments, are evidently in need of an overhaul, so I Nancy over to my computer, Google, and am somehow not alarmed when my penis drops to the floor. Thank you. So what a word I meant to call bush-stalgia. We just kind of miss having that dyslexic evangelical killer in the house. So this is kind of based on some of his speeches, but I take it to a different level, I think. Terror. What is it? Oh, that's the question that keeps me sleeping at night. Why? Because I know the answer to terror. Smoke 'em out. I know the answer to Islamo-fascistic jihad. It's called the good old-fashioned Texas. Yeehaw! I may not be God's cowboy, but I wear a hat. More like a 10-gallon yarmulke, really. I got a dude ranch, as in, dude, where's my ranch? I lassoed an acid head, made him surrender freedom, saw baby Christ once, puked. Okay, it looks like I am God's cowboy. But without further more to do, these terrorists are behaving statutory toward our liberty. These folks don't think like you and me. They think, for instance, that feminism is a corollary to Western degeneracy, where I just think it's a freaking nuisance. You see, if we don't fight Al-Qaeda in yonder Iraq, pardon, I get all misty-eyed and sentimentally retarded when I use such archaic words like yonder. Words that harken back to a simpler time, like when I could snort cocaine naked amongst my Andover male cheerleader squadron. Look, you aren't a man until you know what it is to strap on a Andover pom-pom and run around the locker room like a Muslim terrorist at a suicide convention. Anywho, if we don't fight them over there, they'll be marrying our daughters over here. If we don't rape their land for oil and rip their people's hearts out now, we'll have to do that when we no longer need to, which would be a tragedy or maybe a sitcom. Point is, I can't sit calm throughout all this here terror without thinking about our children. I mean, what with all the liberal fetus haters wearing Haitian footwear or some such, I can't even say for sure that there'll be any children left in the future to use as mortal chess pieces. I mean, moral centerpieces and ethical centerfolds of a new world order. And if we really want to talk about terror, it is of great urgency that we include in our discussion about terror, that is, the tyrannical and irreverent Iranian president, Ahmadinejad. I heard him and his plethora of thugs have published a Holocaust Never Happened pop-up book, which is now required reading in both public and private schools and restrooms. Bomb, 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 Iran isn't just a catchy song. It's an adventure. In a word to the grassroots anarchists in yonder, pardon my hard-on for the lexicon of yore, New England hippie hill towns, Leverett, Wendell, shoots from the hipberry, these harbingers of herbology and harvesters of subversive harmonies who are coerced by their own embittered elf infatuation and derogatory disillusionisms into becoming what I like to call Al-Qaeda-holics, ragged goateed patsies for the heinous cockeyed charlatan misfits who serve that great celestial terrorist, Allah. And remember, you could take baby from a candy once. You could take candy from a baby twice, but a crack baby will never be president 3 times. Point is, abortion is fundamentally wrong. Thank you. Thank you guys. You're an awesome audience.